Hello everyone, and today we're gonna take a look at the Tactics Vanguard, the 7.0.1 Tactics Vanguard to be precise here. So let's get in there and take a look at it now. Again, we are a direct melee damage. Makes sense. We're gonna whack stuff in the face with our stock strike. And again, this spec, it's not the best of specs, and we'll explain why, because there are a lot of the specs that rely on critical hit. So again, the first priority is always getting your accuracy to cap. We're close enough, really, here. This is very, very difficult, and you're going to need augments in order to do so. Luckily, we can make some augments. I mean, these are the wrong augments. These are absorb augments, but what I do is just break them down because me gunslinger, or not me gunslinger, me mercenary, or who was originally a mercenary, the character that we had, can make the accuracy augs, so I just break these down for components for them. We can make absorb augs, but yeah, so 109.93, it's close enough, really. But you'll see here, our crit chance is anemic, is what we've got to say. 30% is far too low. And 58% crit multiplier is terrible. Alacrity we've got is not too bad. It's okay. Our haste at 3%. Should be closer to 5. But yeah, we want closer to 40% crit. And we want this up into the 70s at least, our crit multiplier. So that's why we're really struggling. A lot of crit-based classes are really struggling. We are only 322 item level. In terms of tacticals, they're pretty crap for the Vanguard. So I've just gone with the Life Warden. It's just, you know, heals you for a large amount. We could also go for, I've got Sonic Heal. Sonic Round heals all the targets, but most of the good ones are taken out. Some of them have been baked in. The one I did have, where it gives you the auto crit Cell Burst, is baked into Balmoran Advanced Weaponry, which is basically what Power Yield replaces. It gives you Power Yield, and it gives you 100% crit chance for Cell Burst. Cell Burst crit chance is increased by 100%. And you also get 4 stacks of energy load. Energy load is another problem in the game. So the best way to gain energy load out of combat is to just use your out of combat heal. And you can see here it's building stacks. It'll build 4 stacks, and then this will light up. There you go. And that is at maximum. That is us at maximum stacks. The problem was, when the expansion launched, this wouldn't work a lot of the time. You would see here, you would have just 1 stack, and it would just remain at 1 stack, unless you used high impact bolts to build it up. So we couldn't build this up out of combat due to a bug. That bug has been fixed now. It was hit and miss. If you logged in and you had this up, just click it off. Click off the buff, and then you could go back and rebuild the stacks. This is how the class is supposed to work correctly. Again, we always want to start with 4 stacks of energy load. Again, because that gives our Cell Burst more damage. Again, high impact bolt is what recharges the stacks in combat of energy load. So you're out of combat. We always want to start combat with 4 stacks, because that's just our burst damage gain. So let's go in and take a look at the ability tree then. So we start off with, they've changed this around, because it used to start with Cell Burst at the bottom, and the Cell Burst ability used to be level 23, and they've moved it up to level 39. So that's one of the big changes that they've made in patch 7.0.1. So you start off now with Gut. Gut just, you know, stabs the target with your knife, and it deals damage up front, and it causes internal bleed damage over 18 seconds. It is a damage over time. You never need to refresh this, because you'll always be refreshing it with high impact bolt. You could say it can only be used on incapacitated targets and targets suffering from periodic damage. It'll also refresh your periodic damage of Gut. So the first ability we arrive at level 23 at, we can have Ricochet Rounds. When the bleed effect in Gut is refreshed, i.e. with high impact bolt, it will damage an additional 4 targets. It doesn't spread your Gut, we should point out. It just causes additional damage to 4 targets. Good for AoE, at least if we're doing AoE. You can have Serrated Blade. When the bleed effective gut is refreshed, the target takes bonus kinetic damage. That's just a little extra damage there. You've also got Tactical Knife. When gut ticks, you gain a stack of Tactical Draw. Each stack increases the damage done by your next initial hit by gut by 25%. Maximum stacks of 4 times. So it can double the damage of your gut. This was a tactical as well in the game. So that is another one that's been taken out with increasing the damage of your gut. I just tend to go with Serrated Blade. I'm guessing Tactical Knife in later gear will come in handy. The problem that we're having right now is because we don't have enough crit and we don't have enough alacrity, we're really struggling to do damage. We're really struggling for energy management, so refreshing your gut using gut is quite costly in terms of energy, because High Impact Bolt will refund us energy when it procs, rather than, or it won't cost us any energy at least, so it becomes an energy refund effectively at higher gear levels. So that's why we're not using this one. So I would say Tactical Knife probably will come in handy later on, because it's going to be, if you're going to get 4 stacks, it's 100% damage. Okay, so that's not too bad. So take it you'll build it up, and then it says it will refresh the initial damage, the next initial hit with gut. So take it it's that damage, the initial upfront damage, the kinetic damage that it's doing, rather than the internal damage. You can have the AoE as well. This is just basic. Way to go. Level 27, the only real choice is Storm. This is the problem I have with 7.0. Storm is such a useful, it is your gap closer. Okay, it is a gap closer. Storm, you charge up to the target and hit them. So again, as a melee class, we want to be closing the gap. Again, if we're doing 2 targets or multiple targets that are far apart, when we're finished with one target, leaping to the next target is, you know, the best way to do damage, because range equals damage, and the quicker we close that gap, I hit the spacebar by accident there, so she jumped. So the closer, the less time it takes us to get to our target, the more DPS we do, basically. So I don't know why you wouldn't want Storm. The other abilities are pointless in PvE, at least. Harpoon deals some damage, and it causes our next stock strike to deal 20% extra damage and stun the target. Again, not useful in PvE. PvE, we generally don't really want to be using Harpoon, because Harpoon is a high threat ability, and we don't want to be having aggro. So PvE is kind of useless there for pull and pummel, and then reserve cables getting 2 charges of Harpoon and finishing the cooldown of stock strike. Again, PvP, you're probably going to want to take pull and pummel, just because you get a stun there from stock strike. 20% extra damage. You're pulling in the enemy, doing reasonable amount of damage there, pulling them towards you and then stunning them is quite a nice damage gain in PvP. But yeah, PvE, Storm is better, really. The next level is your Cell Burst. Again, this is our big attack that's going to do the most damage, and again, we want to fire that off when we've got 4 stacks of energy load. And again, we can change how that's modified at level 39. Killzone basically gives us an AoE, so you'll hit 3 additional targets with Cell Burst's initial damage within 5 meters. This is quite nice for doing AoE, actually. And for general use, I would recommend this one, because again, most of the time when you're fighting mobs in the game for soloing, you're going to be fighting groups of trash mobs. So yeah, this is decent, and again, good for trash as well. Superheated Cells. Cell Burst does an additional burn damage for 12 seconds. You do get a dot that is applied. Okay, so Cell Burst causes the target to burn for 426 elemental damage over 3 seconds, which is not a huge amount. So this is in addition to that as well. It burns it for 12 seconds, as well as that little burn for 3 seconds. So that's handy if we're going to be away from the target for a while, like if it's PvP or something like that. Then you probably want Superheated Cells. If everyone's grouped up, then Killzone probably is going to outperform that. The other one we've got here is High Yield Explosives. Cell Burst grants you high yield explosives, increasing the damage of our next Ion Pulse. We don't have Ion Pulse anymore. That shouldn't be there. Or Assault Plastique by 5% per energy load. Max stack that to 20% damage to Assault Plastique. We don't have Ion Pulse anymore. I'm pretty sure we don't have that. The tank has it. And that was our AoE ability. Like, that was one of our AoE abilities. But, yeah, we don't have Ion. Tactical Surges are just... We don't have that anymore. That was taken out. I mean, it's good that it's taken out of the game because it was kind of useless. I don't know why that says that, because Tactics, we don't have it. We do have, what, Searing Wave, or whatever. That's Ion. That's the Bounty Hunter version of Ion Pulse. So I don't know why we have that. The tank has it, I think, and I know that the Plasma has it, or Plasma has a different version of it that gets a buff. Pyro I've been playing with my Scoundrel. Been playing Pyrotech. Pyro is a lot of fun. We'll do a video on Pyro later on. So you get 5% per energy load, so 4 stacks of energy load. When we fire that off, will give us, what, 20%? 5 times 4, 20%. There. Again, this might do better in higher gear, I think. Again, high yield explosives, because 20%. When we finally start getting decent crit, our Assault Plastique doing really nice damage would be quite good, actually. There. So this one might take over, again, at higher gear levels. So you get 20% damage increase to Assault Plastique. Again, that's nice. Probably going to be the best performer out of them. But again, for just general purpose use, I like Killzone. Because again, fighting trash. Level 43, once again, there's only one choice for PvE. Again, in its Advanced Infantry Tactics, increases the range of Ion Pulse, Tactical Surge, Flak Shell, Artillery Blitz, Cell Burst, high impact bolt to 15 meters, and a gut text decrease the cooldown of our Balmoran advanced weaponry by 1 second. Bear in mind, this gives us an auto crit Cell Burst and free 4 stacks of energy load. So yeah, this is just way better than everything. Again, we have 10 meters on everything, so increasing these to 15 meters again is very, very nice. And again, like we said with Storm, range equals DPS. The more range we have, the more scope we have to move around, and the more DPS that we do. So there's no real choice here. The rest of them, War Machine, when Reactive Shield, we gain War Machine, making next Adrenaline Rush heal up to 45% of our health. And our Balmoran advanced weaponry lasts longer. Again, not great. We would rather have it and then fire the big Cell Burst. We're using this as an offensive cooldown rather than a defensive cooldown here. So, again, Advanced Infantry Tactics. Probably the best in PvP as well. Stealth Scan, again, is just pointless. Again, no use for this in PvE. PvP is situational at best. Again... will increase the movement speed of all allies within the scan area. It's not great, to be honest with you. Most people have their own movement speeds, and we have it later on as well with our movement speed. So Advanced Infantry Tactics. This is what I mean by the lack of choice in this expansion. Because to be honest with you, giving you the range, that 5 meters of extra range is such a DPS boost that these two are useless. This is a defensive ability, War Machine, when you have your reactive shield up. You gain up to 45% health when you use your Adrenaline Rush, which is, again, your other defensive cooldown. So this is, we would rather have the range, because at the end of the day, we're there to kill stuff. That's our primary function as a melee DPS, is to kill things. So we're going to want Advanced Infantry Tactics, and as well we also get more Balmoran advanced weaponries, is again another DPS gain for us. Level 51, we have the choice of Electro Shield. Electro Shield again is a DPS boost for us. When activated, a reactive shield charges with electricity, zapping attackers for damage, elemental damage. When they deal direct damage to you, this effect cannot occur more than once each second. Once per second, I guess they meant to say there. Again, yeah, this is a DPS boost. Again, in fights where there's a lot of damage going out. There are some fights where there are just damage hitting us. And there are fights where we can deliberately take damage. Remember, what was it called again? Master and Blaster, where you were fighting against Blaster, and if you stood under them, they would do trample damage. That was awesome there with our Electro Shield. We could combine it with our Shoulder Cannon heal as well at the time, and actually be pretty good. It was a massive DPS boost. If we are going to take direct damage, then yeah, Electro Shield is pretty nice. There's a lot of fights where we're taking damage, just taking damage that's unavoidable. Sometimes we want to get hit, but yeah, this is a massive DPS gain for us. It's free damage, essentially. Paralytic combat stims. We recharge 20 energy cells with stunned, immobilized, knocked down, or otherwise incapacitated. When this happens, the next tech ability used within 15 seconds deals more damage or healing. Again, most of our rotation is tech. We only have one ranged ability, and that's, well, technically two if we count Hammer Shot. High Impact Bolt and Hammer Shot are a 2 range. Everything else is tech. Okay, Assault Plastique, Gut, Tactical Surge, Stock Strike, Cell Burst, Flak Shell, and Artillery Blitz. They are all, even Harpoon I think is tech as well. Tech damage, yeah, Harpoon deals tech damage to us. So everything deals tech damage with the exception of these two for this. So that is, again, nice. If it's a scripted stun, then it's nice for redoing. So you might want to take this if they're but again, most PvE encounters, we generally don't get stunned in. PvP, yes, we're going to get stunned in PvP, of course. And then, of course, you've got Iron Will. Reduces the cooldown of Tenacity by 30 seconds. And the cooldown of Recharge Cells by 15 seconds. We don't really want to take this. This is a thing where we may be struggling because Recharge Cells, our next ability depletes no cells, and we recharge 50 energy cells over the next 3 seconds after using it. Again, that is our cooldown for recharge. Tenacity is our breakout of stun. Again, purges incapacitating effect. Oh no, it doesn't actually, just purges. Oh no, yeah, purges incapacitating movement impairing effects for pugnacity there. Or what was it? Tenacity, sorry. Pugnacity is the scoundrel one. Yeah, so again, if we're getting stunned a lot, we can do that. Probably want paralytic combat stims, so that way when we get stunned, we've got our energy back and we've got a damage boost as well. But again, only useful if we're getting stunned a lot and if we're not very good at managing our energy here. But yeah, I would say Electro Shield. You're most likely going to face, most fights, there's going to be damage going out. So Electro Shield ends up being the best for DPS. At level 64, we have got Reflective Armor. When Into the Fray is triggered, it will also deal damage to the attacker if the attacker is within 10 meters. Again, we're always going to be taking damage. Frontline Defense, if we're having to interrupt, reduces the cooldown of Riot Strike by 2 seconds, and damage taken from area effects is reduced by 30%. Again, this is going to probably be... This is better. Reflective Armor is better for damage, but again, if there's a lot of AoE damage, which there usually is on a lot of bosses, then the 30% less AoE damage is really good. And the interrupt is, of course, really good. If we need to interrupt things, there's a lot of fights where interrupts are required, then we're going to take Frontline Defense. Frontline Defense is probably the best one for raiding and PvE, I would say. Take that one. PvP 1v1, Reflective Armor is reasonable. You've got Entangling Tools, again, is a PvP one as well. And there's not really use for PvE, it's just a slow. Explosive Surge reduces the movement speed of affected targets by 25%. Neural Jolt also slows the target. Neural Jolt is... what is Neural Jolt? Neural Jolts are, yeah, Taunt. There it is, Taunt. Neural Jolt. I forgot what Neural Jolt was there. Don't really use it, so yeah, our Taunt will slow the target. Again, useful for PvE. PvP, sorry, not PvE. There, so you don't really want that. And again, At level 68 then, the only real choice, again, Hold the Line should be baseline. Hold the Line is one of the most powerful abilities in the game. It grants 10 seconds of immunity from all movement impairing and physics effects, basically. So, knockdowns, knockbacks. Doesn't give immunity to stuns, but slows, knockdowns, knockbacks, and also increases our movement speed by 75%. So this is the ability that we use to get out of bad stuff, really. Again, this is what we're going to use. Again, it gets us out of bad stuff. It also gets us 2 enemies faster. So it is a DPS boost. So because the movement speed boost is going to get you 2 an enemy faster, it's going to get you out of bad stuff quicker as well there. So that is kind of essential. I would say this should be baseline because the amount of times, again, it's useful for certain fights. Remember Underlurker in hard mode where you've got a constant slow on you? This was very useful, and you don't get knocked back as well. So that was pretty good. Everyone else was getting knocked down, I think, before not knocked back, and you would just be standing there. So again, the other 2 aren't good. Cryo Grenade is just a stun. Again, PvP maybe, although in PvP you're going to get slows and you're going to get... So I would just take Hold the Line anyway. Guard Cannon just is crap. Again, damaging a target with the shoulder cannon heals you for only 3% of your total health. It comes down to this or this for defensive. I would rather not get hit. That's just what I'd prefer. Like, Hold the Line gets you out of stuff faster, or gets you away from stuff, or gets you back into stuff. Hold the Line and Storm should be baseline, in my opinion. I don't think I'd want to play the class without these 2 abilities, and this is what makes it difficult to choose between. It would be really annoying if they made you choose between these 2. That would have been cruel. Imagine that, Hold the Line or Storm. Oh, that would have been a riot there. But yeah, Guard Cannon, this used to be 5% of our total health, and it was useful because we do get extra shoulder missiles in this. We got charged loaders here. Increases the damage dealt by 15%, and we get 3 additional missiles as well. And additionally, we increase the critical hit chance of our stock strike there as well. So again, we're all about crits, and again, look at Havoc training. Increase the critical strike damage bonus of stock strike, high impact bolt, tactical surge, gut, assault plastique, and cell burst. That's our whole rotation by 10%. Assault plastique damages the target. It becomes susceptible, which again takes more damage from tech attacks. Again, everything we do is a tech attack except high impact bolt and hammer shot. There. So, and again, at the top at level 73, our next choice, Sonic Rebounder is the best one here. Again, Sonic Round, which is AoE taunt. Well, it's technically it's an AoE taunt for a tank, but it's a threat reducer if we're a DPS. Fires a Sonic Round and reduces all threat towards enemies. Player targets deal 30% less damage. They attack anyone other than you. So again, that's useful with PvP. There, you want to be spamming your taunt and your AoE taunt on cooldown to people who aren't attacking you, because you get protection points. You should really be doing that. But yeah, Sonic Rebounder, Sonic Round protects all the targets in the area, excluding you. So it grants Sonic Rebounder, which reflects the next direct single target attack back at the attacker. This is a DPS cooldown. It's not a DPS cooldown for us personally, but it's a DPS cooldown for the raid. Again, we refer to Underlurker again. That was really good when we were in the cross. Sonic Rebounder was awesome DPS booster. There you've got efficient tools. Allows adrenaline rush to be activated while stunned. Causes adrenaline rush to purge most stun effects when activated. In addition, efficient tools increases the range of harpoon. Shoulder cannons range by 10 meters and eliminates the energy cell cost of Cryo Grenade and Neural Surge. PvE really, to be honest, because again we're not getting scripted stuns a huge amount in PvE, and Paralytic Augs increases the stun duration of Cryo Grenade by 1 second. We're not even taking Cryo Grenade, so there's no point in having this. Neural Surge there, which is our AoE stun, again increases that. Not very useful in PvE, just not very useful at all there. But Sonic Rebounder is a massive DPS gain. It's a raid DPS gain, because it's going to hit the boss. Doesn't really gain us, but bear in mind we are a team player. So Sonic Rebounder is nice. If there's going to be a big single target attack that's going to hit the entire raid, I think lots of missiles in the first boss in EV as well. Things like that. Sonic Rebounder is going to come in handy. It's also reflect, you know, it protects all friendly targets. It does give a protection there as well. So that is the most useful raid utility item. PvP as well, it could be useful, although maybe efficient tools might be useful, more useful in PvE. But yeah, there we go. So in terms of gearing, we've looked at that. In terms of our class loadouts here, we've just gone for melee DPS, heals, and range DPS. Arsenal's pretty terrible as well. In terms, again, we talked about the tactical. That's the outfitter we're in. Tacticals, I've got Sonic here. I mean, we could stack this up with having Sonic heal. I think this just dropped, and it's the only one that was left because I had nothing, and I just put the Life Warden in just for doing pugs. Useful if you're a healer as well, although we do have one for the Merc healer there running Restoration there. So again, this can be useful with Sonic Rebounder. It's going to give you a little heal as well there. So yeah, it adds more utility to us. But other than that, the only one that's useful is the one that gives Stock Strike a 10-meter range. Other than that, there's nothing really useful there. In terms of legendaries, I have the Shock Troopers package, which is augmented with an old augment. It's an old crit augment. Alacrity in the Tactics Vanguard legendary. Yeah, don't know what they were thinking there. Again, Stock Strike and Shock Strike, which is the Pyro one. Reduces the energy cell cost is reduced by 4. Shock Strike, Tactical Surge, Energy Blast increases the damage dealt by 10% for 15 seconds. Again, this is just the old set bonus. Really, that's the old 4-piece set bonus. But again, because we're struggling for energy, then yeah, reducing the energy cost of Stock Strike is useful for us, I think. The only other one that I really liked was the one that we gave to the one that gives us our shoulder cannon the chance to fire additional rounds while it's on cooldown, just automatically. We don't need to do anything. That is quite nice. So I'm making augmentation kit Mark 10s because that's all I can really do. Augments, we've gone for our flashpoint gear. This isn't going to get upgraded for a while. I'm just doing 228 augs because that's all I had. And Mark 10 kits because I can make them easily enough. So yeah, 228s, and I've got a whole legacy cargo full of 228 augs here. Again, accuracy augment in here. 2 accuracies, and that was a 208 that we had lying around because that one's got a Mark 10. We'll probably replace that with another crit one when I can make them. So other than that, crit is what we want. Here we are 322 geared. Going down the route of flashpoint gear is a really terrible idea. I should point out there is a bug with this character. That's why the gearing's been so grindy. If I look at, I don't know if I've got the quests here. I don't have the quest, but the weekly quests were nearly conquest capped for the week. But the weekly quests, the things like searching for allies, the complete the flashpoints, the tacticals, and the master mode flashpoints from AFK again there. Don't want to get logged out. So yeah, these quests do not update on this character. I complete a flashpoint in group finder. I also don't get the flashpoint group finder reward. So if you look at this, if we queue for this veteran flashpoint, we'll get tech fragments, we'll get the process isotope stabilizer, and we'll get these are the currency, the isotope stabilizer that we're looking at here. Here I won't get this. I won't get the credits either. This character won't get it. She also won't get credit towards the quest completion. I've done hundreds of flashpoints on this character, so we can't do flashpoints on this character. That's why it took so long to gear up, because I've been doing flashpoints on the other characters, and as you can see, I've managed to amass quite a lot of them now, 69 so far this week. So we can really just generate aquatic resource matrices on this character. That's all we can really do. Solo content, We can't do ops weeklies either. They don't work. They just don't work. I've submitted a bug report about it. I don't know if it's does it show the bug report I've submitted? Customer service. That's the ticket bug report. I did send a bug report about this a few days ago, because it's only this character that can't do it. Like my other characters, it's fine. They update fine. And I can do other quests. I'll show you another character right now. We're not going through the rotation or anything like that, because the rotation's the same as it's always been. There's nothing changed really there. So if we go log in as Lonessa, who's a Pyrotech now. She is the Pyrotech. Pyrotech, that's why I've been referring to Pyro all this time. You can see here, her galactic searching for allies, 1 of 3. Master modes, we haven't done any of them yet. And the veteran flashpoints, again, 1 of 3. So she will get, when we complete this week, I'll need to do that. A couple of days left in this week. This is a Saturday I'm recording this, so still a few days. So she'll get 100 tech fragments, a gear piece which has an upgrade in it, and 30 of the isotope stabilizers. And additionally, if we do another couple of them, veteran flashpoints that is, and if we do the searching for allies, we'll get the aquatic resource matrix and 300 tech fragments. So this is the thing, like, that's why I was finding the gearing so grindy. I'm keeping all of these chests for when I get better gear. But yeah, so that's why we've been able to make so many of these, because I've been doing this on other characters. I've got enough to upgrade a flashpoint piece of gear. But yeah, so there you go. That is the problem. That's why I've been finding it so hard. I do love Pyrotech. The Pyrotech is really good. We'll cover this this spec. We'll cover Pyrotech. Advanced prototype is just the same as what we've covered, because it's just the Tactics Vanguard. Again, she's a scoundrel and a Pyrotech. It makes sense because, you know, she's used to punching people. So why not rocket punch people? Or flaming fist them in our case. Fisting them now. Gone from punching to fisting. And we keep the same main hand as well. They both use pistols. So that saves us upgrading 2 types of weapon. But anyway, that is all for this video. So thank you for joining me, and we'll see you again soon. And goodbye.